Hello and welcome back to the Scoop with Coop. I'm of course Coop, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how Argentina can beat Spain in the World Cup final. But before we get into that, make sure to go ahead and like, subscribe. It's absolutely crucial to the channel. We are so close to 70 subscribers, and it would be really cool if we could hit that before the end of the World Cup. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. And when looking at this Argentina team, right, a couple of things stand out immediately. Number one, they have Lionel Messi, right? But I think the second thing is that this team is much more experienced, older, and slower than when they last played, or at least the core who played during the previous World Cup. However, there have been a lot of newcomers coming in, right? You have had Alexis McAllister up his play at the club level, except for last season. You've had Enzo Fernandez step up, right? You have had players who were considered the young guys of the previous group really elevate, right? I guess not really a young guy, but Lautaro Martinez, he's really hit his prime. And then have Julian Alvarez step up, right? And, I'm going to go through a few ways in which I feel as though, Argentina can really take advantage of Spain, right? And the first thing is the midfield, right? Spain is a team who loves um, distributing and really feeding everything through their midfield, right? They love going from, having a wing back with the ball, get it up to their midfield, get it to another midfielder, and then go. And I think that, with the way that Spain plays, where you really only have like two midfielders, you have like Rodri and, I guess Dani Olmo more as an attacking midfielder, but then you also have Fabian Ruiz. If you're able to overload them in the midfield with like play from McAllister, Rodrigo de Paul if they play, and Paredes if he plays, and then Angel Fernandez, if you're able to win the midfield battle, that'll be great because that will then allow for a lack of ability to go straight from defense to offense, and that'll also allow for the whole passing web and the just truly dominant passing and possession of the ball that Spain is able to have. You can mitigate that a bit, right? And I think that the other thing too is you cannot be flustered by the press. You can't allow for the Spain's press to damage you because that's how France died, basically. And I think this is where the experience comes into play. I think that this team in Argentina has experienced, very dangerous presses before. Like that Netherlands team from 4 years ago, they are phenomenal pressing. They're just a phenomenal defensive team. They have experience with this, and they've only been better since then, I think, at this specific thing. And I do think that if you're able to stay calm and if you want to build out of the back, even though it is a bit risky, that's not a bad idea. Because let's face it, you're not going to get Lamine Yamal pressing very, intensely. That's just not going to happen, really. I'd be flabbergasted if it does. If you're able to build out of the back and if you already have that midfield advantage won, game. Because once that happens, you go and have the other midfielders and the other defenders kind of move up a bit, right? Because Spain loves playing a high back line, and experience is one great way of how you can beat it. Because if you're able to go quickly from defense, right, you have a lower block, or you're able to win the ball like midfield or something. If you can immediately go from defense to offense, and you have Lionel Messi leading the charge with it, that is dangerous. If you're able to be quick on counterattacks, that is dangerous. Like if you're able to quickly move, which I know that's a bit tough for this team. I'm more so speaking about the younger players on this team with Julian Alvarez and Lautaro Martinez. And Martinez actually scored a goal against Switzerland on a counterattack. So it's not unheard of that Argentina is able to use counterattacks to play dangerous and to get into difficult spaces for Spain to defend. And kind of speaking on that, letting Lionel Messi operate in like these half spaces, right? Because when they scored those goals against England, you had Messi kind of in between half spaces, just behind the midfield, and the defenders not pressing up against him. That's how he got both of his assists, right? He is still deadly from there. Nothing changes about that. If he's able to operate from there and you can let that happen, dangerous. But also, if they press up on him, that goes back to the high lines. If you're able to get runs going into the box, because Lautaro Martinez is great at that thing, right? Let's not forget that this guy cooked Barcelona, who Barcelona's best center back in that game is the starter for Spain. So if you're able to get in behind quickly, go get in transitions, and you're able to do all that, cool. Another way that you're able to do it is if they want to overcorrect and have it to where we're just going to keep things in front of us, right? Argentina has scored 5 goals from outside of the box. The first goal being from Fernandez. If you're able to get goals from outside of the box and keep it to where now they have to press up on you, which then can allow for a higher line, or if they drop back, you open yourself up to flexibility offensively on how you want to approach things. So I think those are the big ways in which you could have, um, you know, Argentina come away with the win. Although I do think that, like, looking at more individual players, how you could beat them, like, defensively, if you can beat Lamine Yamal, on the wing, that is big. That is massive. That is specifically what you need to do. And how you do it is make him go left. No, I'm just kidding. What you got to do is you got to be physical with him. You have to nudge him a little bit. He's still young, so he can't handle as much physicality as this very, very mature Argentinian team can dish out. And if you can bump him, you can nudge him, if you can make him go right, if you can make it to where you have like a shadow, like 2-on-1 scenario where it's not entirely just a double team where you can't split it, but if you're just nudging him constantly to go to the right and you have someone like on a contain with him, that would help a lot. I think that, and then speaking about the physicality of how you have to play with, you have to play physical the entire way through. England was able to be physical with this Argentinian team, and they were able to, guess what, get the goal, right? And I mean, they looked like a better team, except for a couple of missed chances for like 60 minutes against Argentina. So if you can get pushed around, that isn't good. You need to overcorrect on that, right? You need to, I don't want to say play too physical because obviously, you don't want to get someone get like a red card for something stupid. But if you can play physical on this younger team, good. Like this, if there is a team that should be able to do it, it is Argentina. And I think that if Argentina is able to play physical, perfect. Now, for the whole narrative of like, oh, you want them to play dirty? No. I mean, I just want them to play within the confines, but be as physical as you can get. And Argentina has been has benefited from a couple of questionable calls. So would that make Twitter mad? Sure, but also I would much rather just win a World Cup. If I'm Argentinian, but I do think that like those are some of the things that need to happen, and I also think that just trying to limit the whole possession for Spain is going to be huge. Because if Spain's able to just dictate the pace and the flow of the game, it's over. I don't think that there's any way to come back from that. I think if you can get Spain a little rattled, perfect. That is exactly what you need to do. I think you need to score the first goal. I think that you need to set the tempo. You need to set the expectation and the standard for this game and then play with it. Keep it. Like, you need to show that we're not going to just let you do your little game for 70 minutes and we're going to attempt to come back, which probably wouldn't work against the Spanish team. You need to come out fast and firing. I think that is how you win this game. But with all of those things in mind, those are the ways in which I believe that Argentina could come away with the victory. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with it. I like to read through all the comments, right? It'd be pretty cool if someone, has a different viewpoint. Awesome. Absolutely love to see it. But this has been the Scoop with Coop. I'm, of course, Coop. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe. It's absolutely crucial to the channel. But we've reached the end of our video. And until next time. So long, everybody.